I was raised a gentleman, Felicia.
Wait, but I gotta make sure that we plug his show, and I gotta get that right.
Yeah, come on. Have the cheat sheet out. There's nothing wrong with the cheat sheet. This
okay,
is radio.
Have your notes.
Yeah,
this
is
Instagram
radio.
Show, Power of Transformation. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get that introduction. Let's get it going today, Felicia.
All right. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Health Matters. This is Dr. Felicia Bridges with my co-host,
Cat Fitness himself.
Today we got a great show.
Amazing show.
Amazing show. We have
all types of crazy energy in the building today.
All types of crazy energy.
We're vibing in here already.
We have as our guest Gerald Guevara, and he is the host and the star of the Instagram live show called, was it Health Transformation? Let me get this right.
Let
me get this right.
We're going to get it right.
The Instagram live show, Power of Transformation. The Power of Transformation.
Man. But he's also a fitness trainer.
Oh, right. Fitness trainer from
And he's
San
also
Mateo.
plant-based.
All right.
And he's he's from the Bay Area.
And Bay Area.
Let's give him all the credit.
All of that.
That's all
Welcome, Joe.
right
Welcome.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today.
Before we dive in too deep, because we're gonna get into the deep stuff today.
Oh yeah.
Let's start back. Like, you're from were you born and raised in the Bay Area, or you?
I was born in Palo Alto, and then I grew up in Daly City.
Okay.
And then around like 10 years old, 11 years old, I moved to Sacramento.
Okay, Sacktown.
That's when
we had Sack in the building last week.
That's when I started going through them highs and lows.
Okay.
Them highs and lows that end up in growth.
Okay.
But then I came back to San Mateo about like 7 years ago. Been here personal training ever since.
Okay.
And,
any particular modality you specialize in, or you?
Look at you using big words. Modality.
Modality. I'm just trying to sound all professional, like on the radio today.
Well, the day job I've had for the past 6 months does specialize just in fat loss.
Okay.
So I would say that's the one I can own.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love doing all kinds of modalities.
Modalities.
Yeah.
So now we know you're plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
So have you, was that something that you grew up on?
No, definitely not. I'm Filipino, so I grew up on the lumpia, the
pancit?
Pancit,
okay.
Yes. But there was this wave in like 2012, 2014 of like documentaries that just started dropping.
Yeah.
And I watched the documentary. I'm gonna go buy the books of the people that were in the documentary, and I'm gonna go deep. And when you go down that rabbit hole, the plant-based veganism truth rabbit hole, you come out and it's either change or live blind, So
So what I was going to ask you is, coming from a Filipino background, and it's like meat and pork and everything, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
How did the family take to it?
I'm the black sheep, man. I'm gonna come through to the party with a bowl of pineapple, and they take my pineapple and they say, "Okay, put that on the dessert table." And I shake my head.
This is the main course.
Shake my head. I'm like, I brought the goods. Put that over there with the cake. I'm like, oh, okay, you gonna have this after you have all that? Okay.
Right, and I know Filipinos come from a strong culture of just food. Everything, everything revolves around food. I know, because I have friends.
I had to pull myself away.
Right, yeah.
So it's just frustrating having well, this is part of my power, is the pain of seeing my parents growing up, seeing my parents go through the system where they have full loyalty to the doctors, where they're taking all the pharmaceuticals, they're going through all the joint surgeries, replacements, and nobody ever said anything about diet and exercise, mindset, breathing. And so this is the fire under me, because my parents and my family continue to have loyalty for that. And I'm just like, okay, I'm building up this fire of new knowledge of we got access to the East and the West knowledge, and we can combine it. That's what I'm doing with Power Transformation,
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm going through the same thing myself. Like, my father is very old school. I think he's 77, 78, and he's has signs of dementia and other things, and he doesn't eat right, doesn't exercise. And it's like, Pops, come on. Like, it's time. Like, he is the family historian. And with him losing, parts of his memory, or it's not quite as sharp as it used to be, it's like, it's hard to see that. And then, in my particular profession, helping people transition from a meat-based diet over to a plant-based diet, understanding that you have to be willing, you have to want it, because he doesn't want it. He's like I said, he's set in his ways, and that's who he is as a person. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just knowing that, man, if it was just a small little increment of interest in trying something different, that, man, it would explode.
His life could change.
It could change.
I wasn't planning on ever sharing, but I just think about my mom, and my mom eats everything since I was a kid. From Florida, you talk about vittles, she ate possum, raccoon, all of this stuff.
That's down south. Man, that's good eatings out there.
You gotta live.
Chitlins, hoghead cheese, still eats.
It ain't always fruiting.
And she's a she got a degree in PE.
So she's physical education.
That's what I'm talking
about.
She
got a degree in PE, and she don't exercise, and she eats anything she wants, and I mean anything. Feet, pigs' feet, everything. And I just look, and she just complaining about all these health issues, can't barely get out of the bed, and I just shake my head.
You know that thing about the egg, it can only hatch from the inside. You know, when it comes to personal development, personal health, like they have to have that spark from the inside, no matter how much you try to hammer them with the new information or all of your results, all of their results. But if they don't really want that, like deep in their core, you might as well not even start or try, you know.
What and you bring up an egg. What is that traditional dish that they have in the Philippines where it's like an egg and it's like a half orange? Balot. Yeah, man, that shit is. That's crazy. Like balot.
You can see it.
You can see the little chicken, and man, it's like yeah, man. And it's like that's like a traditional thing that they have.
Culture.
And they just eat it. It's like an undeveloped. Have you ever seen it, Felicia?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I would have tried it back in the day.
I could even do it back in the day. Like this thing is like you see a little baby just and they just bite into it.
You eating that energy right there? You eating that energy right there?
Eating that baby chicken. That energy.
Man.
So let's talk about energy and food and exercise. Let's delve into
I got a lot to share.
This transformation. Power transformation. And I just want to delve into esoterical.
Well, to me,
spiritual
the
knowledge.
experience that I'm going through right now is it's all meshing into one thing. So the idea, and I'm on a little soapbox going off about this new age deception where they want to separate the idea of the body, mind, and spirit, and say that your spirit is something that you close your eyes and you go over there, and your mind, that's your psychology, and your subconscious is something that's over there. You got to get to a scientist so you can know what that is. But what I'm trying to bring people to the awareness of is it's all here, as in your subconscious is your gut. So when you eat, you're affecting your subconscious, right? So and your physical energy affects your spiritual energy, meaning like our sexual energy, our root energy. It's like I'm tying together for people the idea that like, so your root chakra is what's known as the root, the bottom energy center. And what I'm tying together for people is like, you think that if you strengthen your glutes and you strengthen your hips, that you're not going to have more power in life, because this is in fact your power muscles, right?
Exactly.
So and if you think that if you do deep breathing and you strengthen your abs, which is the solar plexus chakra, which is your power chakra, you think that if you don't do deep breathing and strengthen your core, you're not strengthening your solar plexus chakra. And I go up the chakra, up the chakras, which are the energy centers, but really they don't have their own energy. There's one energy that we have the power to cycle up or down. We can say, hey, I want to be cognitive, and we could bring this energy to the pineal gland and see without looking. We could say, hey, I want to be sexual, and we could guide it all the way down to the sacral chakra and create humans, right? So this very sacred energy that the New Age movement has separated into, like, this is your sacral energy. This is your throat energy. And your throat energy is off balance. Let me clear that for you. And your pineal is off balance. Let me clear that. Well, what I'm saying is when you take the physical approach and mineralize your body and oxidize your body and get sunlight into your body, you raise the entire frequency of all the energy centers, giving you the ability to guide that energy. We already do this on a subconscious level without knowing it. When we're daydreaming, you're using your pineal. When you're mad, you're going, oh, I'm so mad. You're using your solar plexus chakra. You're using your power centers, right? When right now, what I'm doing is I'm exercising my throat chakra, right? And I'm projecting my throat chakra energy through the radio, and it's getting to people's ears, right? And so we have the power to project this energy and make differences in people's lives, right? And so what I'm bringing a lot of young people are starting to follow me, I'm bringing the spirituality idea back down to earth for people and saying like, no, it's not some flu something over here. What it is you working with the elements of earth and increasing your ability to electrolyze, magnetize via the minerals that come from the soil and grow into the fruit, the sunlight that comes from the sun and into our pineal gland and gets processed by our pineal, the air, the wind that we process into our solar plexus in our throat, those are our air chakras, and then the earth. So there's earth, air, fire, and then water, the distilled water. I go on and on about how fruit is the highest quality water that we could eat. The water in fruit has minerals and electrolytes that allow the water to and the fructose, which gets a bad rap, to get transferred into our cell via osmosis, meaning we don't have to have an insulin response, meaning when we eat fruit, we get the energy without the drainage, which is what happens when we eat cooked foods.
Exactly.
Right? So what I'm bringing home for people is this whole hippie idea of eating healthy and eating vegan, and this whole spiritual idea of meditating and getting your chakras going, and this whole physical idea of working out your body and your muscles. It's one thing. It's one pursuit. Finding your dream, finding your voice, there's no different than that and changing what you eat. You know, and I'm taking that spirituality and I'm bringing it down to earth so everybody can start walking that path.
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny that you bring up, tapping into your chakras and understanding that it's all one, because I remember my oldest son, it was, he's going on 15, right? So 15 years ago, I remember the day he was conceived, like right afterwards, I knew. It was one of those things. It was like, it was so tapped into that moment and feeling my body and feeling the energy transfer. And it was like, oh shit. Oh, you're pregnant. Man. Yeah, like this is the moment. Like, it's like, why do you say that? And I was like, I felt it. Like I felt the energy.
You felt a part of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I bet you
else.
did.
Exactly. And I knew, and I was like, it's a boy. And she was like, how do you know it's a boy? Why is it not a girl? I was like, because I felt it.
It went from you to her.
Exactly.
It was just, you had to know it.
Yeah. But not having the education at that time, not knowing, how tapped in I was within myself to understand all my chakras and how it was aligned and everything else. Like, when did you really start getting into this?
All right, so basically, I was the total opposite of spiritual. I started off going to juvenile hall. I started off using my powers of the throat chakra to manifest the wrong things in life. So we could say that I started off doing poetry when I was 7 years old. I always had the power to speak and rhyme and use my words to influence people. But then when I got to high school, and where it's very ego-driven and male-driven, I started rapping about what everybody's rapping about, right? Not knowing I'm manifesting this stuff in my life. So I started rapping about stealing, violence, disrespecting women, just whatever, Tupac was rapping about, whatever was mainstream, right? And that's what's going on now, right? But not knowing and I've always been highly energetic, just like you're talking about, you'll manifest it quick, right? So shoot, I turned my eye to that lifestyle and the incarcerations happened quick because I am a highly magnetized individual, right? So I ended up in prison, and upon contemplation, I realized that I got myself to prison. Upon meditation, I realized I manifested this, and thanks to my brother who kept sending me books on meditation, spirituality, because my brother's always been spiritual. Like, we were like 8 years old, he's meditating. So I've always had him. He's like the guardian angel, right? He sent me books, and then I finally started giving it a try, because meditation at the base level, meditation is a way to escape your current situation. At the very base, there's a lot of benefits, a lot of high benefits, if you do all the work, right? But the base level is you can escape the BS that you're in.
Right.
Exactly.
It was my way of escaping that prison cell. And I got hooked on it, and I realized, like, wait, the way I feel after this is like something else. Like, I'm in prison. Why am I happy right now? Why the hell am I happy? And I'm in prison, right? You realize that it's not about where you're at. It's about where your mind is at, So from there, what started was this spiritual and health journey. And in the beginning, they were separate, where I'm doing workouts, and then I study esoteric knowledge, and I keep it separate. I'm afraid to talk about it on my Instagram, because this is my shadow side of loving ancient knowledge, and this past 7 years was me just gaining the courage to finally step to the plate and marry those two, the physical and the energetic side, and realize that, wow, when I give what I got, like what I've been studying this whole time, there's hearts and minds out there that are ready, willing, and open, right? That's why it's so important that you find yourself, not that you find what clicks or what's viral. It's more important that you connect with your heart so that you can project, because you only project what's in your heart, right? You got so. That's how it started. It started in prison, and
so how long were you in prison, if you don't mind me asking?
2 years.
2 years. So 2 years. Did you start off, right off with the meditation and everything?
Oh, yeah. So I started playing with meditation in juvenile hall. So what would happen was I awakened the spiritual side in juvie, but when I got out of juvie, I had street cred. So guess which side is going to win over when you're 18? Like I did a little meditation, but they're calling me OG now because I went to juvie. You know what I'm talking about?
You got some street cred,
so I'm going ham on the streets now because I have this rep, and then especially when I got out of prison, I'm going even more ham because I got this rep, and it was this.
The ego was fired up.
I had to burn off this old part of me. But what's beautiful is that over time I realized that I didn't have to burn off that old self, like all the rapping stuff. I just had to get rid of it and shift the frequency, because now I use my rap to spread knowledge and motivation, and so I embraced that side of me that was like gangster, and now I'm using that gangster to go on health and to fight who the enemy is. I'm going ham on them now. So I feel like the system rehabilitated me, but now I'm turning my guns towards the right people, which is ignorance, darkness, and just the lack of knowledge of self. That's who I'm aiming my guns at. Unconsciousness. Aiming my guns at that,
What you're saying is very, very powerful. And I just want to know, can you describe the moment that you knew that you made that shift?
You're so good you asked that question. There's a whole thing on that. There's a whole story on that. And it was like an unveiling of like the truth about the world. And this happened in prison. This happened on Thanksgiving Day. When during this time, I was 18 or I was 19, and I was going to get out in like 6 months. And the idea of turning my life around and getting a job and stopping this gang shit seemed like Mount Everest to me. It seemed so high that I decided that it's not even worth entertaining the idea of trying, because the disappointment that can come from getting out, trying, and then failing, and then striking out, because I had 2 strikes, 1 strike from 16 years old, 18-year-old strike. The idea of striking out was so scary. And so what happened to my mindset was I accepted that I would be in prison forever. My mindset had shifted, and basically I started adopting the mindset of somebody who's always going to be in prison. So it allowed me to be happy in my situation, right? I'm going to lower myself all the way to this level where I'm like, you better just get comfortable here. You ain't even going to try to get out. Look at all those people come back in. Look, 65% recidivism rate, meaning 65% of people that get out come back in. So I'm looking at I'm doing the math. I'm not stupid. I'm doing the math. I'm like, I'm 18. I got a whole 80 more years to live. You want to tell me I'm not going to strike out? I'm like, I'm not going to try. But Thanksgiving happened, okay? And on Thanksgiving morning, I woke up and I had a day in prison that was unlike all the other days. For some reason, from the moment I walked out the cell, the guard that unlocked my door, everybody was like maybe I'm embellishing as time passed, but it's just like I got a greeting from the guard, the inmates. I'm passing by, happy Thanksgiving. Like I sit down, I go to the lunchroom, and it's usually loud and like obnoxious in there. Everybody's sitting and eating and just in a happy mood.
The energy is shifted.
So I'm just like, I'm in prison. What the hell? And then I'm sitting down to eat, and all the races are sitting not segregated, because it's usually all by race, and it's Thanksgiving, so for some reason everybody's just like ignoring that, and everybody's integrated. And so from the beginning of the cell to when I walked back into the cell, I just got nothing but good energy, like, hey, say what's up to your family and all this. And then I went back to my cell like with my heart like full, like, oh shit, like human nature is love. And I don't care what the programming told you about what kind of men go to prison and what's going on. Love and companionship and brotherhood and sisterhood and all of that, it's our nature. It's how we act when you turn off the programming for 1 second. That's why they have to blast it at full volume all the time, the programming, because as soon as you turn it off, we snap into human nature, which is, it's all about cooperation.
And you normally see those kind of things when like huge catastrophes happen. Everybody, they don't think about anything else but human nature.
Right. Yeah. All those other things that might inhibit somebody from helping another person, like that's a black person. I don't want to help. All of a sudden, that that doesn't matter. It just comes a point where you just go into
So I decide, like, do I want to
start helping?
What part do I want to play in this? If human nature is peace and acceptance and love, like, what have I been doing? Right. What have I been up to? What game have I been playing?
Tapping into your humanity.
And I woke up and I was like, are you going to keep rapping about the same prison stuff? You're going to change your message. And it took me a few years to finally embrace that I don't want to rap at that frequency anymore. Like I that's that. I'm this. And when you raise your frequency to the next level, only then can you see where you were at. When you're at the low frequency, you don't know, because that's your world, right? But once you elevate yourself, you can look at yourself, even look at your videos and say, man, that's not where I'm at anymore.
Yeah. So how was that transition for you, especially coming out of prison, still hanging around the same old people, but knowing that you're entering a new chapter of your life?
You can't argue with realness. Because if I'm doing it, if I'm trying to step away from this life from a place of fear, step all over me. My OGs can get on my helmet, but I'm not stepping away from it from a place of fear. We can have the debate now on why I'm stepping away from it and why I'm not gonna continue bringing kids into this mess that we have, right? And you ain't gonna argue with me about this conversation. But if I was scared and said like, oh no, I don't want to talk to them, I don't even condone that. Because I'm still a gangster. Don't get me wrong. I just shifted my frequency to the light.
Exactly.
And I think that anybody can respect that. Anybody. It doesn't matter who you are.
So pretty much all the OGs, when you came out and you kind of told them that you weren't, down for the cause anymore and told them why, they respected it? Or
No, I didn't
you...
put it like that.
Okay.
I put it like this. I was like, I got in and it means it's for life. So if you pull me out of this, you better pull me out of this for something serious. Like you were saying, like, it better be something real. And don't call me trying to tell me to come to the barbecue because you got something going down. No. If you want to pull me down to that frequency, I just kept it so real. Like, if you're going to call me because we need to break the law, make sure it's for a good reason. You're not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't argue with that.
Right. You can't.
Just keep it 100% real. Like, because I got 2 strikes. How many do you have? Okay, so when you call me out, know what time what's hitting for.
Yeah, you better go down.
Right.
This last strike.
That's when you shine the light. That's when you shine the light.
And I bet you for sure they respected that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I find that in life that if you're authentic, you get more respect that way.
Yeah, real. Always recognize real.
Yeah.
Like, you're not succumbing to peer pressure. I respect that. So, exactly.
But it's like, you could tell me to come out for some negative stuff, but are you going to come out to my speech? You're going to come out to my talk for a nonprofit? What's up? You're going to come out because you want me to come out for you, right? So you're going to come out for me when I'm talking about getting healthy? They're not. So you want me to reciprocate what? I'm trying to help you in your whole life.
So it kind of was just a mutual, just like split.
No, we're still on the respect level, but I have basically my frequency, right, of behaviors, of things I like to do, right, and it's not that.
Exactly.
It's not what's going down over there.
How do you feel like? So at this time, were you plant-based at that time, or was that another
that was
step?
yet another layer.
Okay.
It happens like an onion.
You
shed layers, and then like you just awaken further, right, to how everything's connected. And the plant-based thing happened 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. But
did it take your frequency to a whole nother level once you kind of detoxified from all the animal products?
Well, you're talking about you are what you eat, right? When you realize that you've been eating death, and
that's the way to put it. Huh?
Hey, when you realize that this is all energy, and like if you wanted to eat life, you would have ate the living animal the way that they do it in nature. Yeah. Even the natives, they eat the living animal and drink the blood. That's life. Mm-hmm. What we're doing with the freezers and the butchers and the systems and the systemized killing, like that's That's not the nature.
Exactly.
See, I got my pole that I lean on now. It's nature, right? So I learned, I found the Hermetic principles. I found the laws and principles in nature. So now I'm like, I got my sword.
Yeah.
I've never heard it that way. Systematized killing.
Oh yeah, it's corporate industrialized killing. So these aren't people that are butchering these animals. These are corporate entities with boards that decide that they're going to kill this many animals, and the person that's actually doing the killing, they're not in their heart. They're not there.
They're robots.
Yes,
they're after the paycheck. So it's not even their karmic failure, right? They're just they're guilty on the natural level, but the karmic thing, that they're empty. They're empty vessels, right? And it's even more scary because the entities that are deciding on how much killing is happening aren't alive.
Yeah.
They're dead. They may be being fueled by people who work for the entities, but this is an entity that has had its mission statement and its board and its rules in place for hundreds of years. The people who birthed and breathed life into this entity are dead now. That's the power of corporation, or corpse, right? Corpse is a non-living entity. It's a dead body. That's what a corporation is. Now, you can make that dead body do light stuff, positive stuff, right? When you breathe life into a corporation and do positive things, you can fight the battle of light. But when you're breathing life into a corporation that's going to live longer than you, and you're starting it off on a path of using nature to make money, that's called black magic to my eyes. You know, so corporations, they're non-living entities. That's who's deciding on how many animals are dying. It's not even a human with a heart. If it was, do you think they would have turned the notch to 11 like it is right now?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, billions of animals dying every day. You know, so
I think you just hit a huge point right there. It's something that had started a couple hundred years ago, especially with these corporations, and now it's something that the intent that started with it is not quite there. You know, well, it's not there at all. It's another person trying to interpret what that initial mission statement or vision might have been, and has taken it, you know, far to the left.
Let's just break that and make it solid for somebody. So the mission statement for a company could have started out as feed the people.
Exactly.
Right? Starts off like wholesome. We're feeding the people. Yeah. We're giving them value. And then over 100 years later, somebody thought that the 36th president thought that feed the people means feed your people. I'm feeding the people. What are you talking about? We eating. Right. We eating.
Exactly.
He's following the mission statement, but the only people eating are the people inside the corporation. All the people outside are dying. Exactly. But he's like, well, feed the people. We're sticking to that's the power of corporation. And when it's turned on its head like that. Yeah. So, I mean, it's all energetic, man. You know, it's crazy.
So what was the first thing that you noticed really when you kind of start moving? Was it first of all, my first question, was it an overnight transition when you went plant-based, or was it kind of over time that it took you to kind of eliminate certain things? You know,
like I appreciate people that can do it overnight, you know, and I respect that. But for me, I teach people and I condone the slower transition because of what I experienced trying to do it overnight. Because my experience was like just psychological failure going up and down. And I was just like, you know, the negativity going on here with trying to do this too fast is not conducive, right? We can do better, right? And in fact, I'm going to help more people if I learn how to do it gradually, because nobody's ready to do it overnight. Not really. The hardcore people, the 1%, the 1% of people are ready to do it overnight. But the vast majority, let's talk about a fruit breakfast. You know what I mean? That's what I'm on. I'm like, how about a fruit breakfast?
Yeah, let's start there.
Let's start there. Like, but
drinking water when you first wake up.
So here's a conspiratorial angle of it: is the powers that be know that only 2% of the population is ever really going to go full hog. But how much profit would it hurt them if we all cut by 20%? If everybody cut their meat intake by 20% hard, this would probably result in a hit to the meat industry that they wouldn't come back from. Now let's bring that up to 50%, the whole population, because right now only 6% of the population is vegan, or 5%, you know. And so if we can instead push this whole idea of reduction. See, reduction is a scary word because right now you just have people that eat meat and don't.
Exactly.
And the people that eat meat is a lot higher percentage. So if
Yeah.
we can convince them by not being like asshole vegans,
Yeah.
right? If what I'm trying to do is build a bridge, right? If we can build a bridge and get them to see that, hey, a fruit breakfast is better than a bacon breakfast,
Yeah.
we're gonna really hit the industry.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit them where
Because
it
bacon
hurts.
sales are going to go super down after
We're gonna
that.
hit them where it hurts.
Yeah,
If we get them to substitute the eggs for an apple, like this isn't about going 100% nothing. That will come. But let's get them to step one.
Yeah.
You know, let's get them on step one. Let's be even keeled about our approach.
Make it more attainable to them, you know, more realistic. And that, I was going to say, that's the exact same coaching strategy I use with my clients. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, you know, I don't expect you to do this overnight, but let's say you have a Taco Tuesday. Let's take that Taco Tuesday and turn it into, you know, a plant-based alternative. And they're like, okay, I can do that. I can do that,
Yeah.
right? And like you said, for breakfast, instead of having the sausage, the bacon, the ham, let's talk about some fruit. Let's talk about a smoothie for breakfast. And they're like, I can do that.
Which is why I like to tie in the idea of fruit as something that raises your spiritual, physical, mental consciousness and frequency. And I like to bring it home because there's scientific-minded people, there's spiritual-minded people, there's physical-minded people. And my talent, okay, is mixing it all together in a soup that will get everybody to drink it. Like, okay, dang, the fruit really will help me on all levels. So that's now like what has grown to be my aim with Power of Transformation. And it didn't start like that. I thought I was just gonna do like a self-help thing about fitness. You know, you just think like, all right, what's everybody doing? All right, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, and then no one's
Find
hitting.
your place right into
I'm gonna get right here next to him, and I'm gonna keep copying him, right? And then it's not hitting. You're not getting the
because
interaction.
it's not authentic.
It's not authentic. When I started not holding back and just being all me, funny, like just dancing, whatever. Now I'm getting these connections.
I love your videos, bro. Like, they're
Thank
priceless. Like,
Man,
I don't know how long it takes you to do them, like put them together like you do.
It took a long to get the process down, but
Yeah. But just seeing the end product, I'm like, wow. That's why I had to invite you to the radio show. I saw
thank
you,
man. Yeah. Hey, this is a fruit. Me being here is a fruit of something I've been tilling soil for a long time. I've been working on this show for a long time, and just the opportunity to come out here, for me, it's confirmation that like I'm headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
You know,
We're listening to KPFB 89.3 FM in Berkeley. This is Dr. Felicia Bridges with my co-host, Cat Fitness. And we're talking with Gerald Guevara, and he is the host of the Instagram live show. And let me get this right, because I usually trip up.
You got to get it right. You got to give them a proper introduction. Felicia. You
I
can't trip it
know.
up.
I'm going to do this right. Power of Transformation. And he is really dropping some knowledge.
Yeah, he's dropping some jewels, y'all. If y'all are just tuning in, you have to go to the beginning of this show because he's been dropping nugget after nugget, and we're just getting the mix of it. So right now, because you know, even within a plant-based diet, not saying that it's so many different levels, right? When you first started, were you like a junk food vegan, or you kind of?
What's a junk food vegan?
What's a junk food?
I don't
vegan?
mean to.
Let me clear it up. It's just anything that doesn't have animal products. It means you can eat it. That's a junk food vegan.
Yeah. So you're still eating donuts. You're still eating.
Yeah.
All the chips and all the oils and stuff like that.
Well, because you still get the benefit because you quit the animal products.
Yeah.
So you still feel better, but
Oreos.
That's where that saying. That's where the saying comes in. There's levels to this shift. Levels to this shit, right?
Right.
There's levels to it, right? And so you slowly start to see once you introduce yourself to higher levels of awareness or energy, and then you go through the up and downs, because that's what really gets you to commit, is when you get that energy and then you lose it again, and you get it. And if you go around and go back to meat, you're gonna know what I'm talking about, right? Where you're like, dang, I'm slow again, like, and it's come to this aha for me that we are purely a product of like what we're intaking. Food, media, frequencies, your energy, your emotions, your thoughts, they're all just a product of what you're consuming. On my next episode we're going down on it, about like you want to be depressed, but you're watching all that all day and you listen to that all day and you think that your depression is your problem. You're simply a product of what you're consuming. You want to feel emotionally detached all the time and you don't want to pay no attention to your food. We're detached. Let's put it back together,
And that's one of the things that helped me make my transformation myself, was that once I did the 30 days, because I wasn't even thinking about going plant-based vegan at all. It was something a client asked me about, and I wanted to do some research and I wanted to try it out to give him my best opinion. And once I did that, I realized, I was like, wow, the depression, the anxiety, all this energy I'm absorbing from these animals, and that's why I'm feeling this way. And all the doctors are going to do is say, hey, you know, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling depressed, take this pill.
That's
Take
funny.
this pill. You know?
I got it. I got that. That's funny.
And that's not where I wanted to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I guess I have to deal with this
pill.
myself. You know?
I'm on a campaign.
You know?
Against that.
And then
you know?
once those 30 days went by and I realized, wow, I just felt the shift within myself. I was like, that's where it was coming from. And that alone let me know that I will never, just because how I was feeling, I would never go back to that darkness that was inside of me, because it was all kinds of crazy thoughts. I'm like, where is this literally inside my head? I was like, am I going crazy? Like, why am I having all these thoughts? Why am I feeling this way? I'm having a good day, and all of a sudden, like, just pure negativity. And it'll be after I eat or something like that, that I'm soaking all this up. And I was like, wow, it all made sense. Like a little light bulb just went boop.
You know, eating, this is the other gem. Gem. Get your pencils out. Eating is always spiritual. It's always spiritual. No matter what you eat, you're messing with the water content in that food. And I'm going to bring it home. The spirit, what science is slowly coming out with is the idea that water has a memory, meaning water always has a trace of what was in it. They're trying to hint to us that water has a consciousness. See, water does have a consciousness, and this guy in Japan named Dr. Emoto recently did experiments where he would expose water to different frequencies, different music, different prayers, different emotions, and he identified that the higher frequencies get the water to take up higher frequency structures, and the lower vibration stuff
they would
the water
make
to take
beautiful
up...
forms and beautiful
That's why I
structures. You
pray
play
before I
music.
drink
When
water.
you
I
pray
just
before
say
anything.
thank you before I drink water, just so I make sure that it's at that higher frequency.
Yeah,
We
and
are
it
the
goes
same
for
wavelength
all your
with that
food,
one.
like, because there's water in all food. All good food, all real food has water content. So what does that give us the power to do to the water content in our food? See,
Shift the energy within.
we can shift the energy and eat that love, you know?
Right.
So what does that say about the butchering? What does it say about the Burger King?
Yeah.
What does it
It's
say
all
about the
dead
Panda
flesh.
Express?
It's
Think
all-
about the energy going into the chop.
And plus
No
the people
heart.
that plus the people that are making it too. They don't
All
want to
that
be at the
energy.
they don't want to be at that job.
So you eat
They're
out
like-
every day, and you want to tell me you don't know where your depression's coming from.
Right, where
You eat out 3
coming.
times a day. You got this energy. So when you have the idea or the code that all eating is spiritual, you can start to view everything from that aspect and start to control. Like, because now when I'm eating my fruit, I'm like, spiritual, high vibe, eat love. And it's just like, I'm starting to live in a different world than the one I'm walking around in. I'm like, y'all ain't on this high vibe? Y'all ain't on this high vibe? Okay. You ain't on? No, just me. It's like I'm at a party. I'm the only one there. No one knows there's a party going on.
So right now, would you call yourself? Are you fruitarian?
Well, so what it is and here's the thing. See, they want you to think that the only way to be fruitarian is to eat nothing but fruit. No. I've simply identified fruit as the human food. Now, I could go ahead and enjoy myself anytime. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to eat something else whenever I want. But if you go to my house, all you see is raw, fresh fruit. Because in the same way that some people have identified meat as their primary source, and they're living like that, there's carnivores out there that just live like that, right? I've identified fruit as my primary source. Now, if I entertain myself with other foods, I understand that I'm eating purely for entertainment, and that the only thing that gives me the building blocks is the raw fruits and vegetables. So to answer your question, I'm like a 70% fruitarian.
Okay.
You know, 70% fruit, 30% indulgence, and it's with respect to, like, if my mom cooks me some adobo, I'm not gonna not say no, because again, there's a spiritual aspect to your mom cooking food for you when she puts her love into her food. So I'm not gonna be like, no, I don't eat that, because again, it's body, mind, and spirit. So sometimes I want to feed my soul. My mom cooked it. I'm not gonna say no to my mom. That's that negative energy right there. If you say no to some of your
then
mom,
it's a back and forth.
we ain't
and
doing
then
that.
It's gonna take you to a dark place if you say no to mom.
No.
Right,
I'm eating the soul food because this is what soul food is. It's not what your idea of KFC is. Soul food is when you prepare the food, put your love into it, make it with your hands, and give it to someone you love. This is feeding the soul. This is why couples live longer than lonely people.
Yeah.
Or not lonely, but single people.
Single people.
Couples live longer than singles.
Singles, right?
Yeah.
They eating that love.
Yeah, and it's that connection that keeps them uplifted. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a healthy relationship or not.
Yeah.
So describe to me like a typical day as far as your practice.
Okay, so well, I'm in a wave now where I've committed to the meditation. Like I'm locked to it.
So is it like 15, 20 minutes, or are you
we're
down an hour?
We're up to 1 to 2 hours a day.
Wow.
Because what I've
When you
realized
first
is that
wake up, or
I crave it now, and it gets to this level for a lot of people. So this is written about, but I got to the level where I'm in a constant state of meditation right?
Okay.
Where any situation I'm at, I'm looking for the room to go. Just ever so subtle, right? Even on the train, because what happens when you start doing 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, hour there, it builds up to where you realize that the idea that you had to stand still was just an idea, and that the meditative breathing and mindset can be happening no matter what your body's doing. You ever watch a movie called Limitless?
Yeah.
Where at the very end,
the guy pops the pill and he can do whatever he wants.
And this is talking about DMT and air and breath work, right? When you do the breath work, you become omniscient, but it's just because you have this open perspective, right? And so I'm addicted to that, and it's all meditation and breath work. And in the movie, at the end, he basically said that he weaned himself off of it.
Yeah, he didn't have to
and
take
he didn't
the
have to
pill
take it
anymore.
So the aha moment with meditation. So I want you to think of sitting still and meditating as the pill. And you think that you have to find time to sit still all the time. You think you have to put an hour apart. But at the end of the movie, you realize, man, my life can be meditation. And you can live in that higher state.
Yeah.
And so I'm committed to my people now. I've committed to the 3-day schedule of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays at 2 p.m. And the way that I get the script for the show is through meditation. Because when we think, and I used to try to think about what I'm going to write and record, and that's our electric side, but we have a magnetic side. And so when you close down your thinking and you meditate, what you're doing is you're activating that divine feminine, because this is masculine, this is feminine. And so what you're doing is you're accepting in. The feminine aspect is accepting in, right? This is masculine, this is feminine. Feminine is accepting in. It's like the chalice. So when you meditate, you're allowing the information to come to you. So the alchemy that I'm doing is I set the intention of, I want to do this episode about this. All right, electricity. And then I meditate, magnetism. And then what comes to my heart as a combination of my thoughts and feelings is what flows out. And so it's this alchemical process it's completely organic. It's following the laws of nature. This isn't like I took a course and this guy told me to take this script and then ask you for $5,000. So that's what we're doing. No. This is it's like a tree growing. You watch me, you're watching a tree growing. The fruit's gonna start dropping soon. Boom, boom, boom.
Fruit is dropping
Fruit's
right
dropping,
now.
Right? I'm boom, boom, boom. And I tie it home for people that, like, if you think that what I'm saying and talking about is fruits, then the idea of the sun and the photosynthesis is literally real, of like us being like trees, right? Like I'm literally processing the sunlight, like my eyes are taking in the sunlight. I'm breathing in that air. I'm taking in the minerals through grounding and eating raw fruit. And then what's the last one? Water. I'm drinking the distilled water. Right, daily. So I'm taking in the 4 elements to produce fruit in the same way that a tree does. This is no different than nature.
So I call myself doing the same thing. Maybe not as deep into the actual sitting of the meditation, but being in a state of meditation throughout my entire day. When I have my classes, asking, what purpose do I serve here? Who do I need to help? Let it kind of be a channel and allow these things to flow through me, right? And it's so funny because that's how you ended up here, because I was like, okay, who's supposed to be, on the show with us this week? And I was sitting there, I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like,
you magnetized me over here.
Your page came up and I was like, it's Gerald. Gerald's the one that's supposed to be in the
right
studio
across the
today.
bridge.
Yeah. So that's why I sent it out to you. And you know, and you know how things
You know,
work.
because you asked me this before,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't have my voice. See, it's crazy because when you
wasn't
asked me
time
before,
yet.
I was still on my, like, let me think about what to do. Let me post a video about this.
Yeah.
I'm not really, like, even the interview that we did, I wasn't fully in it yet, right?
Yeah.
Something clicked between now and the last time we interviewed, and I talked about it in my video,
Yeah.
is I had this explosion here
Mhm.
that ever since then everything's been different. And what they write about is the Kundalini Awakening, right? But basically I retained my semen and I started doing deep breathing meditation, got up to over an hour a day.
Mhm.
And after about 3 weeks of serious deep breathing, and I'm not just saying it only took 3 weeks. I've been meditating for a long time now.
Mhm.
I've been reducing my processed foods and animal products for a long time now. So what culminated though
Mhm.
was I felt a sexual orgasm, but it wasn't down there.
Yeah.
It was here in my brain, and it was better than any drug I've ever taken. So I've been awakened of like, wow, you've been trying to smoke all this weed, trying to get this high,
Mhm.
and you just did this
Right.
oxygen thing for 3 weeks, and you got something that the drugs never gave you.
Mhm.
And I'm holding on to that frequency now. I still have that, like, holy shit, there's more to sex than just the lower energy. We can have
Right.
sex with our mental, with our heart. We can be emotionally bonded to somebody, you know. So
Exactly.
ever since I had that explosion and awakening, all the studying, it's like limitless, because all the studying, all the books I ever read are now up for serving through to people through this perspective that I have. You know, all the books I've been reading for the past since prison. In prison for 2 years, I probably read around 200 books. You know, and so now that I have this, well, now what I can call it is I raised my frequency. I did the work to raise my frequency. Now I have access to all my energy. And now I just want everybody to get on this level. Like, I don't want to be here by myself. Like, let's go.
Exactly.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Here's the tools. It was simple.
Yeah.
You know what? It almost sounds like you're trying that if
He's not
people,
trying to do anything. He's doing it.
Wait, it almost sounds like that if people got on your level, I don't know why I started to say that other word, that we could all communicate without even talking. It would be just an exchange of
Exactly.
energy and just exchange of thought.
And that's what it once was.
That's what it once was. We
Yeah.
fell from
Right.
grace.
Exactly.
We fell.
Yeah.
You
And we
know.
won't even have to say a word if we were truly all
And-
on that same
Activated.
higher
And think about it.
plane.
You'd be
we
totally
would just-
honest because
and be having the most
it'd be the
full
honest thought.
conversations
Yeah.
and not
Yeah.
a word exchange.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the power that we
Yes.
have.
That's
where
we
we're
have
headed.
that power.
Mhm.
And this paradigm shift, which some of us are deeper than others, not saying that, that's quite a good or bad thing,
It's
but
just where you're at.
yeah,
you know?
it's just where you're at in
Life,
your
you
journey.
know.
That people are doing that. You know what I'm saying? I've had an experience similar to that. It was like, I was like in my head, for whatever reason, I was like, I'm thinking of a certain number, right? And I was like, if anybody can hear me, repeat this number. And a person in the room said the number. I was like, wow.
Wow.
mind
Yeah.
blown.
I believe
Blown.
that.
And I was like,
Mhm.
We
You heard
got
that.
superpowers that we
I was
use
like,
every
you heard
day.
that.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they got us with the Disney, man. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's just fantasy. It's
Yeah.
just
Right,
it's
yeah.
just you just what a coincidence.
Yeah, because I get in these spaces sometimes where when I talk, it's like I get a preview of the conversation before it actually comes out people's mouths. So I ask a question and the question I already know the answer. It's and I like, wow, that's so trippy. And I have to like calm myself down, so to speak, because I'm just like awed by the fact that happens.
But one of the things that, what Gerald said that really stuck out to me was like, once he found his true voice, right? He was like, it was no denying it, And I think I've been in a place in my own personal journey that's what I've been struggling with, because I was like, man, it's so much. I'm getting downloaded with so many different things. Like, if I say certain things, people are going to think I'm crazy, right? And it's having that attachment to that and
To
not
the
caring.
image of yourself.
Exactly.
Oh, right.
Which, like he said, everything happens in layers of onions. You start peeling away, and I'm getting to a point where it is what it is.
Right.
I'm going to be who I truly am. You know what I'm saying?
I'm for sure at that place.
Yeah.
I'm for sure at that place. Gerald, I want to just kind of explore just for a quick minute because we run out of
We got to come for a
time.
part 2.
Hey,
Hey.
down. It's endless.
But
It's
real quick, it sounds like you walk around a lot with no shoes on when you talk about making a connection with the earth. So is that how you kind of
Are you talking
tap
about the
into
grounding?
that in grounding?
Okay, so there's multiple ways to ground. All right, what I have on my bed is a grounding blanket. You can get it on Amazon, where it has silver lining laced into it, and then it plugs into your grounding, and then your body physically grounds while you sleep. Now, the other way to ground is, of course, walk onto a source of water, walk on the beach, get your feet wet. This just takes out the positively charged or the stress ions in your body. Get in the soil. The truth is, like, we're so divine. Anything you step on outside, you're gonna ground. Like, don't let them think that concrete, your energy ain't going through that, because you're divine. Your energy is going through that. Okay, so you're
can limitless.
ground. Yeah, you're limitless. So but of course, the
concrete
closer to the trees, the source, the nature, the water, the better you're gonna ground. And then the physical way, the nutritional way to ground is, of course, raw fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. They got all the minerals that will physically ground you. I talk about how we need electrolytes and minerals to do muscle contractions, and the raw fruits are literally what we use to make ATP. If you look it up, it was like, we need the oxygen, we need the hydrogen that's in there. So grounding physically with raw fruits and vegetables.
So now when you eat your fruits and vegetables, say for instance that you're having mango for the day, will you mix your fruits and vegetables? I mean your fruits. So will you only eat like mangoes for breakfast, or will you have mangoes? You have
some things mix better than others. When you're first starting out, you got to experience with what you like, because mangoes pair well with bananas, they pair well with kiwis, but there's certain things that you shouldn't mix together. Like if you're really getting if you're trying to get your frequency up to like the pinnacle, right? There are certain things that combine, because we're talking about powerful medicine when we're talking about fruit. You wouldn't mix the morphine with the Adderall and take it together. So when you talk about fruit, you are dealing with that same type of power, right? Because lemon has a different power than banana, has a different power than apples. So if you read up on food combining, that's already out there on the internet.
Any good book that you want to shout out for that one?
Oh no, it's just the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Arnold Ehret. He's gonna go ahead and educate about fruit in a big way. There's also Dr. Robert Morse and his Detox and Miracle source code. Make
sure you guys are writing this down, because he's giving y'all some knowledge, y'all.
Yeah, and so there's this whole different perspective about fruit that's available if people want to look to it. But the thing is, the alternate perspective, the negative side of looking at fruit, is always being pushed out and pumped out, and they're always coming up with new science of why fruit's bad. But you got to bash the real solution, right?
Exactly.
If you're making all this money, you can't let people get on the fruit.
Yeah, because then they'll start growing it in their backyard. And
Where's
all
nature,
where all the corporations going to be then?
Yeah.
Like, what? I can grow this in my backyard and live a very healthy life, and
you can't have people waking up like that. We got to keep sleeping.
Yeah.
So
we're going to have to wrap this up, but I want you to, for one, repeat those books again, because I couldn't get to my phone fast enough to type it in.
Okay.
And how we're going to follow you, when your shows air, all of this.
Yeah. Okay, so the two books are The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Arnold Ehret, that's Ehret, and the Detox Miracle Source Code by Dr. Robert Morse. And these are both just like different perspectives on fruit. My show, Power of Transformation, is on my Instagram live Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My Instagram handle is based in the plants with all underscores. So it's based _in_the_ plants. And that's me, Gerald Guevara. You can search me on YouTube. But YouTube is also linked on my Instagram. So.
Okay. Perfect.
So, yeah.
Man, I'm excited to have you back.
Oh man, I'm excited to be back. We look. Let me put it like this: we tapped in.
Yeah,
we tapped the surface. You know what I mean? So
we gave him a little taste today.
Yeah. Hey,
Things to come.
All I was thinking is that we've had guests, but he's probably the one that I have really connected with through all of our.
Yeah, he's 2019. 2019 Health Matters.
Right.
Taking it to another
new wave.
New wave. Yeah.
Level.
So guys, make sure that you're tuning in every Sunday at 2 p.m. at 89.3 KPFB for Health Matters Radio. Felicia, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on well, I'm really not on social media, but you can kind of hit me up on Health Matters Instagram. I'm there.
You're there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay.
And also, I do have a Facebook page, but right now, folks, I'm kind of weaning off Facebook because it's a political choice.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want all those. Yeah,
Yeah.
all those demons.
And also, but I'm old fashioned, old school. You can reach me by email at FeliciaB@kpfa.org. You can also call me,
Okay.
and my number is 510-763-6403.
And you can find me Cat Fitness on IG at Cat Fitness 3, on Facebook Cat Fitness, and make sure you're checking out my YouTube channel. You know, I'm starting to put more content out there, and you can also find me on YouTube at Cat Fitness.
All right,
Okay.
Cat Fitness.
Cat
All
Fitness.
right.
We're there. So that's the end. Thank you for
Gerald,
coming out.
thank you so much for
Thanks,
coming.
Felicia.
Taking
This is just
taking
like
time
so
out of your
powerful.
busy day. I know you're going to
I'ma
be
be
coming out with a
floating.
book pretty soon
Oh yeah,
yourself.
you know it's in the works.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
So much
Wait,
fruits
quickly,
in the works.
quickly. So, what do you got plans for the future? What out? You got this show
Oh,
that's about
there's
to.
so many
it's about to
things that I'm
explode.
like-
No, it is exploding.
There
It
is.
is
So I'm like a
exploding.
gardener, and I got
Mhm.
various trees growing in the garden. All right, I'm not attached to the trees, but there's
Yeah.
a couple. Like there's a dance fitness business that I'm trying to build. Like
No.
you know, where we do dance
Okay.
with fitness. I got Power Transformation. That's the Instagram show, and then there's this other thing, Positive High system, where this is the fitness side. So I
Yeah.
got all these different aspects of myself because we are multidimensional.
Exactly.
Going on at the same time. Of course, I want to write a book, but the more experience I get, of course, the better that book's going to be. So
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush. I'm just taking like it's
It's
going to
gonna
write
come when it
itself.
comes.
It's
Yeah.
going to write
Oh,
itself.
right, for
honestly,
sure,
you
for
know.
sure.
One day you're going to be sitting there and you're going to hear that voice and it's going to say, pick up the pen and paper.
Hey,
And then you're just
you know how
going
it, hey, how do you think Power Transformation started? How do you
Right.
think the Power Transformation started?
Right.
It's called. It's
Yeah.
called.
Right,
you know?
it's
Exactly.
called. Okay.
So yeah, thanks for having me, you guys.
All right, we're going to see you guys next week. Make sure you're tuning in to 89.3 KPFB Sundays at 2 p.m. and we'll see you later.
Ta
Peace
ta for
out.
now.
Guys.